All right, guys, welcome back to Road to 2000. Today we're doing my second Blitz game from this week that had some really nice tactics where I used some new opening lines. So today we're doing a 3-2 game facing a 1630 opponent, roughly. Let's take a look. Opponent goes King's Pawn, e4. And the new line I've been learning is the Scandinavian Defense, where you bring the knight out here on f6. I've been learning this from the Remote Chess Academy YouTube page run by GM Igor Smirnov. And I've always kind of hated the Scandinavian Defense because it always just seemed bad to me. Okay, you bring out the queen, you're just letting white develop with tempo. And like, it just never really made sense to me. But now that I'm looking with this line, it's actually crazy how many traps there are. So he has a couple really good videos on this. They're a little more advanced, so you probably want to be like 1400-ish or higher, but they're fantastic, and I'm still learning them. So the natural thing to do is to try to defend this pawn, right? So we're double attacking the pawn. The only way to actually try to hold this is to play c4. And I've had this as white before, and I was like, yeah, all right, let me just try to hold the pawn. Unfortunately, that's already a mistake. And the way to start to punish it is to go e6. So that's what I did in the game. And you play in like a gambit style. So you let them take this pawn, and now you're playing the game down a pawn. The correct move here is to take, but I forgot that, and I got confused with a different line that he had showed. So instead, I went knight c6, and then after pawn takes f7, we go king takes f7. And this isn't quite as bad as it looks because we've now opened the e-file, and white's king is still in the middle. They have 0 development. So we can pretty quickly do something like this and then bring our king to safety later if needed. So that's the idea. Opponent goes knight f3. We go bishop c5, bishop e2, rook e8. Opponent castles, bishop f5. And yeah, here I already kind of messed up the main line stuff with this. So, you know, this isn't the ideal setup. I think usually they maybe aren't even able to castle like this quickly. Like I should have been able to get more pressure on white than I did. But they're still, it's pretty awkward. They still aren't very well developed. This pawn is kind of always awkward. So our position is fine. Opponent goes a3. I get my king to safety, king g8. Pawn b4 now, attacking the bishop. So you can't go back here because they're going to trap you, right? Don't want to lose the bishop. So you have to retreat this way, or maybe there's something else you can do. The computer's saying knight d4 somehow is the best move, which seems kind of crazy. Oh yeah, I think there's some crazy tactics. The move I played in the game, which I think is very logical, is bishop to d4. So I'm attacking the rook, which is uncomfortable for white. And if they trade, which they did in the game, then when I recapture with my knight, I now have pressure on this bishop. So if you're white, what would you play now to deal with that threat? So the opponent played rook to e1, defending the bishop. However, we have a couple really good moves in this position as black. So I'll give you like 5 seconds. What would you play here as black? So I imagine a lot of you are seeing knight f7, knight c2. That is a good move in this position. You're forking the 2 rooks. However, there's an even better move in this position. I'll give you 5 more seconds. So notice the queen does not have very many squares. What do you play as black? Bishop c2. The queen is totally trapped, totally smothered. And we're just simply going to pick up the queen. And it's worse than that because, so if they take right away, then when we recapture with the knight, we're forking the rooks. So And actually, we would win a rook outright there because both of these are totally undefended. So if they like move one, we would just take this, and well, maybe they trap our knight or something. But actually, probably not. Yeah, it's very good for us. So you can do that. The computer says that's one of the best moves, quote unquote. My opponent tried to develop, which makes sense. I mean, they're so on their heels here. They need to try to like untangle. But now it's even worse for white than you might think, because after we take, how do you want to recapture this bishop if you're white? If you take with the knight, then we have this fork, again winning a rook outright. If you take, you can't take with the bishop, you get immediately mated because this rook is undefended. So my opponent took with the knight, or sorry, took with the rook. But now we have this double attack on the bishop. So we take with check, the rook recaptures, and we take. So we won another piece there as a result of that. Okay, so we're up 7 points of material. We have a crushing position. They're still underdeveloped. All their pieces are in the back rank. Our opponent goes d4. What would you play now as black? You could do a normal developing move. So if you're saying like queen d7, queen e7, and then later like get this rook out, those are logical moves. The thing is, you're going to give white time to, bring the bishop out, connect their rooks, defend their back rank. So the move I found here was queen takes d4. Seems insane, but they can't take because you're going to mate them. And we're attacking this undefended rook. And also this one is undefended. So in this position, they brought up their bishop, and I simply gobbled another pawn, and they just resigned because it's not getting any better from this. I mean, we're gonna stack on this, and then probably take here or here, and the end is near. So if you enjoyed that, guys, make sure to drop a like on the video, comment down below if there's anything you liked from the game, any questions you might have. And yeah, we're going to continue the journey to 2000. This is my Blitz rating. So, I float around like 1700 Blitz or, high 1600s at the moment. Rapid, we're trying to get back to 1800 in the near future was my previous peak. So I will see you guys in the next one where I attempt to take another step forward towards that goal. All right, guys. Thanks a lot.